Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday today. Alan and I are pretty much in the same boat, and because I'm in Wisconsin, he's in Michigan, so we're kind of just on opposite sides of Lake Michigan. Um, and I mentioned in a video yesterday, I think that so wildfires from Canada are causing air pollution, and that's bringing it down into the states, and um, it's been pretty rough for us. And you know what, Alan, I realized because a while ago I used to be a cigar smoker, and that's exactly I think how my throat feels is after smoking a cigar. That kind of
Mm,
raspy, kind of kind of thing. So yeah, it's I don't know. Our weather here says it's going to clear by Thursday, maybe. That we have an air quality alert till Thursday afternoonish. So hopefully it gets better. We've been kind of staying indoors. My son's baseball game yesterday was canceled. My daughter's softball game this afternoon was canceled. Um, so it's pretty weird to think that, and there must be pretty huge to cause this much pollution up in Canada. Um, so but you don't hear about this on the news. Um, Maybe I wonder the local news telling all those that are um, susceptible to kind of stay indoors. But it's been rough. I don't like this not being able to go out and, just kind of vegging inside kind of thing. So I don't know. I know, Alan, you have to go out and drive. That's your daily job, right?
yeah, the pretty much. I mean, lately I been hanging around doing more office stuff lately. We just have a lot of stuff going on lately. It's our busy time of year.
Hmm.
So it's usually I like to be home by 5 and get by my computer, but not the case today. So
Yeah.
interesting enough, I went ahead and took my wife out to dinner yesterday. Never knew about this air alert, and I'm looking at outside, and I'm like, boy, I'm like, I can't believe we're eating outside. I mean, I'm like, well, what is this? And then she's telling me about the air quality, and then we looked it up, and we were at 242 points yesterday, and 250 basically everybody's mandated to be inside because it's hazardous. So yeah, so I was outside yesterday all day. Um, it's kind of interesting. I watched it on the local news and on the ABC and NBC national news, and they were talking about it because one, they were blaming it possibly on some of these airplanes that are being stuck in the holes, and people are staying 3, 4, or 5 days, because
Hmm.
they can't get out. And they blamed it on the weather because basically, if you can't see, you can't land. And so but in regards to the weather, they were talking about. Let's put it in perspective so you can understand it. That if you're outside for 2 hours, it's equivalent to smoking 7 cigarettes.
Jeez.
And so I'm like, wow. And then I remember what my college teacher told me that one marijuana cigarette is equal to 20 cigarettes. So I'm thinking, like, all these people smoking marijuana.
Yeah.
Um, I just thought it was funny because I was talking to a guy today, and I knew he was a marijuana smoker, and he's like, I'm staying inside today for the smoke. I said, it's 160 points today. Yesterday was 240. Yesterday's the day you should have stayed in. And I
Yeah.
said, well, I hope it gets you some perspective, because the thing is by smoking marijuana, you're just killing your lungs.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's like you're just being
yeah,
outside by itself. Yeah. I think we're
yeah.
at like 203 today, and I think we were 230
Oh,
yesterday. So we're kind of slowly. slowly getting better. But
So
still,
yeah.
I grew up with asthma. I have a terrible immune system. I have allergies, so um, this kind of does affect me, I think, a little bit more. I feel like it does. So yeah, so we're hanging in there. Speaking of Michigan, Alan's party is the mid
July 22nd.
July 22nd.
Yes,
Um,
coming up. It's coming
it,
up. The band's already been practicing. We're gonna have a full band, five, six bands. We're gonna have the guitars, we're gonna have drums, we're gonna have electric guitar, and so it's gonna be
hmm,
a nice party, and then obviously all you can eat and drink. So
yeah, I was
hoping to see some people to that. Yeah.
for those of you that read Alan's first book, I joked with Alan saying that I was going to be the one now in the tent, driving to Michigan and staying in a tent.
Oh yeah, you
Uh,
did say that on the way there. Yeah, you said yeah.
yeah. So
Uh,
I'm in a rebuilding phase kind of thing.
yeah.
So
Um,
which is funny because my wife is still looking at her new car. Um, so yeah, so
you
we'll
living in a
see.
tent and she's driving a
Yeah,
new
right.
car, and then the Corvette. We don't know who's gonna drive that. Yeah.
Right, yeah,
So
that's gonna still sit in the car, sit in the garage and take up money. So yeah, so like I
well,
said, I'm rebuilding.
anybody that comes up, we'll make sure we get you a room at a Marriott hotel or something. I got plenty of points. So
So
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I'm still planning, thinking about it, or thinking unless something odd comes up with the family. Um, yeah, I'll be
Which
there.
does happen with him. Now, so everybody knows, the only reason we're having it this date is because this was the only one Brian was available.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to. It's like so. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because I think the other year was a little bit later.
Oh, it's always
Uh,
yeah. It was used to be 2 weeks later,
yeah.
and then the year before was a week later or something like that.
Oh,
This
you
is
know
the
why? Because
earliest
my my wife's birthday is
wife's
August 5th.
birthday.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
one it was originally going to be. Is August 5th because we were
Yeah.
worried about it being too hot. Because sometimes Michigan gets hot, even though it usually doesn't. Michigan today is 78, so it's not too bad. I
Hmm.
was in Florida last week, well, as everybody knows. It wasn't too bad. There was like 85, 86. I thought it was
Hmm.
very comfortable.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love Clearwater. So um
yeah.
so let's get to
Stop. So
we
we want
we
we want to hit. They got to trade MU for the rest of the week because that's going to dance. Whatever's going to
yeah.
happen, up or down. Wait till like 10 o'clock or 11, and I'm thinking you're going to go short, but because you're going into the last day of the month. So
Yeah, and so these are the stocks reporting after the bell. And MU, while it's leading calls, um, last time I checked, MU MU is up 1.5%. I think when Alan and I first looked at it, it was like
it says two and a
2.5%.
half.
Yeah, so now it's lost a percent, but I mean it's still up. Um, but the reason Alan and I got into talking about this was um, there's still this unknown of which stocks you're going to play near the open, which stocks you're going to put on your 5-minute app list. Um, so I, what mentioned was that stocks after earnings, when they open, they'll digest those earnings and then they'll move. And in that first initial period, the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, the options are going to come down in value. Um, if you look at an option before earnings, they're pretty jacked up because of that earnings unknown. Um, so they need to price that in. And from talking to Alan, it sounds like MU um, was pricing in a little bit bigger move than we're actually seeing.
A
Um,
dollars they priced in a $1.70 move is what was priced into it.
okay. So and so we'll see. It'll be interesting when they open, but I think that would be one to watch. I think that one's going to have some volatility. Um, so it might be a good one to play. Um, I've been playing
Right,
this.
Abe?
Rite Aid is another Rite Aid reports. Yeah, right. Let's see if they get delisted. Rite Aid reports in the
Yeah, yeah, that's why they did the reverse 20 split. Yeah,
yeah,
so they
Rite
won't get
Aid's
delisted at
yeah, they're
dollar
sitting at a
57.
dollar, yeah, dollar 50 something.
Jesus.
So yeah, they yeah, about it. So they report after the bell. You know, Walgreens Boots, they reported earlier in the week, I think, or late last
Yesterday, I
week.
thought.
Was it
Yesterday.
yesterday?
Yeah, and they said
2908.
it because of non-COVID sales and
Oh,
that they
yeah.
were way down. So that makes sense because they all those companies did real well with COVID.
Yeah.
So
And let me do this. Let me okay, couple things to look at. So here's Walgreens Boots. And this might be another one to trade. And if you notice, here's its earnings, and this is a pretty huge candle, and we're still undecided. This is a pretty bullish move here as well. Um, so they need to get back up into the 30s to kind of fill that gap. Um, we talked about RAD, which 152, they're kind of at the bottom. Um, I mentioned the SPY that I traded today. Um, so, and it was actually quite bullish even today. Even after they had this very bullish day yesterday, the bulls continued to run. Um, I want to show you because it took me a while. So this is the 5-minute app for Android. And right now, this is only going to be available for Android. By the end of the week, I'm going to get this into the Google Play Store. So you have your list of stocks, right? And I say, oh, you know what? I want to know what's going on with Nivea. So here are the articles that are related to Nivea. Dow lower, Powell keeps the door. And I mentioned that Powell talking today. But these are news headlines. And if you click on one, it should, and maybe it's slow, bring up the actual article. Nivea shares fall 1.8 as investors weigh potential new restriction on sales to China. So it allows you to kind of read the actual news articles. And in that sense, you can kind of get a better feel of what type of news the stocks are facing. Um, so I'm excited for that. Like I said, it's going to be only for Android right now. Um, I need to work on getting the iOS versions, clean those up a little bit and get those working. Um, we mentioned, or I showed the earnings volume app, that listed volume. I need to get that into the uh, iOS App Store as well. So I got a couple things on my plate. Um, I think that's all I have. Like I said, I'm in a rebuilding phase. I'm trading the SPY. Um, the good thing and the bad thing about this, and I was so mad yesterday because I had this plan to straddle the SPY. Um, and if you're curious, the difference between a strangle and a strangle uses the same strike, buying a put and a call. Um, a strangle are um, different strikes. So my plan yesterday, I bought a call for $9. I bought a put for $9. And my plan was to sell one of them for more than a double. And I had the 436 calls for $9. I got frustrated because it was like 11:30 Eastern and the spies chopping around. So I'm like, you know what, this isn't moving. So I sold it. Um, Lo and behold, later in the day, and you can go look at what the spy did, but those calls traded up to like $80, I think. Um, so that's why I like trading the spy. They expire every day. Um, if you get the movement, those options are gonna move. But if they chop around because they expire at the end of the day, they are gonna lose value relatively quickly. And relatively quickly means, 2:30 Eastern in the afternoon. Um, so it's a gamble. Well, I don't want to say it's a gamble, it's a risk. Um, but like I said, I'm in that rebuilding phase, and I can buy an option for $9, and then a double's sitting there at 20. So um, I did it Monday. Um, you know, had a double on the spy, and I think those were puts that I doubled. Tuesday, I just got impatient um, and kind of let the market tell me that I was wrong, which I shouldn't be doing. And then today, I made close to 70% on calls again. They could have been a double, but I just got out in the morning. So um, that's been my strategy. I kind of still keep an eye on other stocks like Google and the Niveas and things like that. But and tomorrow it's going to be MU to see what they do, um, and Rad. Um, but yeah, as far as trading, I'm just a spy guy. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully things are good on your end. Any parting words, Alan?
Well, so I played Google calls today after it broke the 5 minute high. Actually, it was a put in the morning, and then it switched over to a call on the 5 minute. So that one worked pretty well. Another one that I was in, been really straddling Raytheon RTX, another put day to day. Basically, it's range around between 95 and 97. We're going to the end of the month, which should be tomorrow or Friday. It always gets mixed up how it's supposed to work because 14th, actually not the 14th, the last day of the month, I believe, is on Saturday again. And
Hmm.
so every time it does that, it doesn't know what it wants to do on Friday. Usually it's been up on the, on that 15th. So if it's on Saturday, that's what it's been doing. But going back to MU, I'm leaning toward puts, and that's how I would be playing MU. But wait to see what happens. We saw it go from 2% to 1% on the downside after earnings. So that's kind of giving you the clue how it should be going.
Yeah.
And I think it's overextended. I haven't run the 20-day SMA, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Bookings had an amazing day yesterday. It almost went up $80. So the ones you want to focus on: Google, bookings, MU, and then I don't think the oil stock's going to move anymore. I was in Oxy. I know EOG on Monday. Those turned out pretty well. EOG, Oxy, and then XOM. So So
Yeah.
parting thoughts is watch all those stocks, get the 5 minute app, let it guide you. That's all it is guidance. And I hope that you have a great week.
Yeah, you mentioned RTX, which is in defense, and another defensive actually drone maker. AVAV is their ticker. I don't know what their company name is, but they just reported yesterday, I think, 627, and had quite a bounce. Um, and that would have been another interesting one to kind of trade. And I wish I could show that. But I think we've taken enough time. But if you have a moment, go look at AVAV on the daily chart, and that candle that they put in today.
Mhm.
They traded from like 92 up to 97, which is
Wow.
over a 5% move
Oh, that is a big
in the
move.
day.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I think the stocks that report the day before, watch them, let them do their thing the first 15 minutes, and then based on that 5 minute rule or 5 minute
Mhm.
lines, jump on them because I think they're the ones that have the volume. So
Excellent.
okie doke. Sounds good. Well, thank you,
See you,
Alan.
Brian.
Yep. Talk to you guys later. Bye,
All right.
everyone.